With that out of the way, let's get back to the light gray circuit and set up the Shulker box unloader for the fuel. And so we'll place a temporary block right next to this jungle log right here, place a block on top of that, and then place a comparator pointing towards the left side of the machine, and then solid blocks on both sides of this comparator that we just placed, and then a dropper pointing downward underneath the right block that we just placed, and then 3 more temporary blocks on the right side. Remove 2 of them so that we can place a dropper pointing towards the left side of the machine, and then a hopper pointing into that. Place 1 item into the dropper, and then remove that temporary block, and then we'll come on over to the other side here, and we'll place a hopper pointing into the first dropper that we placed, the lower of the 2 droppers that we placed, and then a comparator pointing outwards towards the right side of the machine, and then a solid block at the end of that comparator, and a redstone torch coming out of that, and then a solid block on top of the redstone torch, and then coming back in towards the left side of the machine, have a redstone repeater set on a full 4 ticks, and then an observer pointing out of that, pointing again towards the left side of the machine, and then we want to take a dispenser and point it straight down right at the end of that observer that we just placed, and then place a hopper on top of that, like so. And then this solid block that's right on top of this iron bar here, we want to place a piston so that it will crush the Shulker box that will come out of this dispenser right here, and then place solid block on top of and behind the piston, and then temporary block and another solid block like so, and then place a comparator and point out of this dropper dispenser and into this solid block, and on top of that solid block we will place a piston, regular piston, and then another skip a block and then come back in, so we've got an observer pointed straight in to this hopper right here. And then we also want to come down here, so this redstone torch, the only redstone torch we've placed here so far, we're going to come down 2 blocks from that, so this is just a temporary one, 2 blocks, and then we want to come down another block and then over 2, remove this temporary block right there, and then we want redstone on these 2 blocks, and then a repeater pointing into the jungle log. And then what we want to do to test this out and make sure it's all working is I've set up a Shulker box with 16 items in it, just a few items, just to give it enough time to make sure it's working. Put a couple of those into there. You should see them load and then unload and load and unload, and everything should be working properly. And the empty Shulker boxes should end up in this dropper right here and not in any of the mine carts. And then come down here and make sure to clear out this mine cart. I think I just threw them right back in there. There we go. And then everything's working there.